Hello you guys! Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different than my usual beauty videos. Today I'm going to do a video kind of just on some personal topics. I had posted something on Instagram just asking for people to put their questions underneath there because I was getting a lot of questions, and then when I put that on there I didn't get a whole lot of questions, and I got a lot of personal messages, so I'm going to go ahead and answer those questions right here. And I think this is going to be pretty fun to just kind of just sit and chat. This morning my boys had doctor's appointments, so I'm just wearing my Need More Coffee sweatshirt from Target because it's just been one of those days. And Cooper was up last night around 3 o'clock in the morning for no reason, just hanging out. So I am a little bit tired, but I'm really excited to do this video because I think it's going to be really fun. So let's go ahead and get started on the question. Okay, the biggest question that I am asked the most often is, what is your favorite mascara? And my favorite mascara is the CoverGirl Supersizer. It's in this turquoise little tube. I buy mine at Target. You can buy it at the grocery store, anywhere. It's super easy to find, and I always buy mine in the very black. So the wand looks like this. And at first when I saw the wand, I thought, I'm not gonna like this mascara at all. But this has been the best mascara I've ever tried. I mean, amongst high-end or anything, this is the one that I always go back to. So it's like $5.99, so definitely my favorite. All right, another question that I have been asked is, what do you use to whiten your teeth? And I have used white strips in the past, but my teeth are very, very sensitive. So I can only use those every couple of days, and they are kind of expensive. And I mean, I'm telling you, even like the wind would blow and like my teeth, my mouth would just like, oh, just hurt so bad. Or drinking anything all day, it was just the worst. Like if I applied them too often, then it was just, I was like, never mind, I'm not doing these again. So the only thing that I use now is the Colgate Optic White toothpaste, and this is in the High Impact White. And I have definitely noticed a huge difference. Like it says 4 shades visibly whiter, starts working in 3 days. Like this is all that I use morning and night, and it keeps my teeth very, very white. And occasionally I'll notice a tiny bit of sensitivity, mainly just after I brush my teeth and then I like try to drink water or something. You know, it's a little bit sensitive, but it's not anything compared to white strips. So if you have sensitive teeth, or even if you don't, this stuff is great. Like I mean, it's got the same ingredients. Yeah, it's got hydrogen peroxide and everything in it. So it's got the same ingredients as white strips. It's just not as concentrated, but I would really recommend this. It's like, you know, $4 or $5. So that's all I use. Okay, so now on to the little bit more personal questions. I went ahead and wrote them down, so if I'm looking down here, it's because I'm reading the questions off. But one of the questions is, how do you decide where to live when you got married? When me and my husband got married, I was living in a house that I rent, and he was living in an apartment. Whenever we got married, we decided, obviously, that my house that I was renting had a lot more space than his apartment. So we moved into the house that I'm renting, and I'm still, we're still in that house because we're still trying to figure out where we want to live and how big of a house we need, and just kind of getting things all together before we decide which house we're gonna buy. So we moved into my place. The next question is, how did you handle being pregnant, a toddler mom, dating and working, and how to balance work? Okay, that's quite a loaded question. Okay, so I only had to work 3 days a week, and then 2 days a week towards the end, and then 1 day a week. I kind of like dwindled down just a little bit. I am a nurse, so normally I don't work every day of the week anyways, but my schedule was only 3 days a week, and I kind of dwindled that down. And then right before I delivered the baby, I wasn't working anymore. But I honestly had the best job in the world as a pediatric nurse. I loved my job. Just right now, this is the fit for me and my husband, for me to stay home. But it wasn't too, I mean, work was definitely not hard, but being pregnant and having a toddler at the same time, that's definitely a challenge. You don't have as much time to just lay around and, you know, take naps and stuff. You're constantly running back and forth chasing after a toddler, and I was exhausted, and I actually had morning sickness with my last pregnancy. So that was a lot different. I mean, as far as me and my husband's relationship, it was just fine. I was tired, and you know, instead of bedtime being midnight, it was like 9 o'clock. But other than that, you know, it really wasn't too hard. It makes it easier when you like your job, and you know, being pregnant the next time around might be a little bit more difficult when you have 2 children instead of 1. So, okay, so the next question is, how do you blend 2 families? And that's kind of a difficult question to answer because some days seem like it's really easy and some days were harder, but for the most part it was pretty easy. Both of our children were pretty young when we met. His daughter was 4 and my son was 1, so that's really all my son is going to know. He's not really going to remember anything else, and pretty much for Sydney as well, she won't remember too much either. So it definitely has its challenges. You're trying to be the parent half of the time for someone, and you may not have the same parenting skills as the other parent, and so it comes with its challenges. But for the most part, if everyone has the child's best interest at heart, it's really not that hard. You know, you treat that child as your own because you love that person. You know, it was never like, I always figured that I would have stepchildren because I was very adamant about dating someone who already had children, or definitely someone who wanted children. That was my first question to my husband when we were dating was, do you want to have more children? Because if you don't, I'm not going to waste any more time. But if you date someone who doesn't have children, it's a little bit harder for them to understand when your kids are sick and date nights are canceled and, you know, things happen. So when the other person does have children, it's a lot easier to date because they do understand. Just as far as a blended family, I've always wanted a big family. So around here, it's just kind of like the more the merrier, and I love the whole dynamic of our family. Now we have Cooper, which kind of brings us all together as one. So yeah, I love having a blended family. It definitely comes with its challenges, but overall, you know, we're all super happy. The next question is, when did you introduce your children to each other? Let me think. He introduced his daughter first, and we were at a Mexican restaurant, and it was really cute. She just talked a whole lot, and I was maybe a little bit nervous, but not really. You know, I was excited to meet her. He met my son a few weeks later after that, and he introduced me to her probably 3 weeks into our relationship maybe, and then I introduced my son to him shortly after that at Chick-fil-A. Imagine that. But he was only 1, so it was kind of like he didn't really even know what was going on, or, you know, remember that. But I know some people have different views on this, so, you know, this is just my opinion. But we wanted to introduce, like, we felt very strongly about each other, or else we never would have, you know, introduced them to begin with. But then you want to introduce them because if your child doesn't get along with them, then you don't want to waste any time. You know, like, if he wouldn't have liked my husband, if my son wouldn't have liked my husband, or, you know, they didn't get along because he was only a year old, but if there was just not that chemistry there, or something felt not right, then, you know, we would end it. Like, there's no point in dragging it on, and then your children meet them and they hate each other. You know what I mean? So that's just my view on it. You can take that with a grain of salt. Okay, so the last question is, what is your fitness and diet routine / regimen? And to be honest, I don't really have one. If we're just gonna put it all out there, I don't. I'm not gonna act like I do. We do have a gym membership. I haven't been lately because I am not ready to leave Cooper with the child care workers yet. He's still exclusively breastfed, and so I kind of just feed him on demand, and I'm worried that he's gonna get hungry when I drop him off, and then I'm also afraid he's gonna get sick. So, and my husband doesn't get home till late, and I don't really have time to work out in between there, and, you know, unless he gets home early. So when he does get home early, I like to go running. I do try to go running a few times a week. When he is home early, I just kind of like, I love the way running makes you feel. I ran in high school, and so that would probably be my main kind of fitness routine right now, is just running. But I do plan on getting back in the gym here pretty soon. And as far as diet goes, I honestly, right now, I do not have the greatest diet. Everything in moderation, pretty much. I am breastfeeding, so you are kind of allowed an extra 500 calories, and sometimes I forget to eat, honestly. Like half the day has gone by and I'm like, I haven't eaten breakfast or lunch, and I've just eaten coffee. Well, drink coffee or eat coffee, whatever you want to say. I do make dinner most days of the week. Sometimes me and my husband will have a date night or two a week where we go out to eat, but for the most part I make dinner, and usually that's chicken, some kind of vegetable, rice, or potatoes or something. I eat what I want in moderation, really, and I know I could be a lot stricter and I could probably make something up, but we're just being honest. Yeah, that's really it. I usually have like an oatmeal with my coffee in the morning or something, but sometimes I don't eat anything. And that's about it. So those are the questions that I was asked recently. I have been asked some other questions too, but I usually just reply back real quickly. But those were specific questions asked, and some of the most questions, like the mascara and the teeth whitening, those are asked all the time. So these are really fun for me to do. I felt a little bit weird asking on Instagram, like, hey, you want to ask me some questions? Like I'm some big YouTube star or something, because I'm not, but I thought I would just give everyone a chance because I do get a lot of stuff to my inbox, but I guess nobody just wanted to comment on the picture. So anyways, I hope that you have a wonderful week. It finally feels like fall here in San Antonio, which is amazing. You know, now in the afternoon it's probably warm and I won't need my sweatshirt anymore, but for inside the house it's pretty cozy. So we'll see you all very soon. Don't forget to like, give this video a thumbs up, and to subscribe. That way you don't miss out on any future videos that I post, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye.